So, hi everybody. I'm representing NHS roll call. I'm Naomi. I'm a UX designer, so just to apologise in advance that I can't properly speak to all of the sort of technical solutions. But Amir, who was our front end developer, who was gonna talk about that to everybody, said he was having a few technical difficulties, so won't be able to present. But also we might have Zarina joining, so she'll be able to speak about all the sort of cybersecurity side of things. So, NHS roll call. So the idea came to me after um, going to sort of the pre-hack on Tuesday, where Amy Calori, I think, was talking about how at hospitals there's a lot going on at the moment, and there's sort of doctors coming and going, and it can be really complicated to keep track of where everyone is and how all the sort of doctors are working together, especially as there are lots of doctors off sick or isolating at the moment. And it's something that's come up in the government briefings as well. So the NHS isn't always able to report on how many doctors are sick or can't work because of childcare issues and things like that. So the roll call app was aiming to solve sort of two different problems. So one is to help perhaps automate rotas a bit more and make it easier to ensure that all the different kinds of doctors that need to be in a hospital on a given shift can be there, but also track why doctors can't attend hospital if if they can't come to work for isolating reasons or because they're displaying symptoms themselves. So after speaking to Maya, who was really helpful in terms of supplying information around how rotas work and the issues that she runs into with creating rotas and working in hospital, we sort of found these problems. So you have to create rotas manually, they're really complex. And also when staff need to report sickness, they have to speak to like 3 different people on the phone, and there's no easy way to track the reasons they're off sick. So as I mentioned, the app would facilitate a sort of more instant form of communication. At the minute also staff can only see the rota in the hospital on the internet. So here they would be able to sort of view the rota through the app, and it would be more easily updated by the administrators. And staff would be able to enter why they can't attend work, so it would help with reporting. And the impact of this is to improve communication, reduce time that's spent on admin, reduce staff having to share rotas through WhatsApp and other third-party systems, which can cause problems if you see an out-of-date rota, and it improves reporting on staff absences. So I have a demo or sort of a UX prototype of the app here. So hopefully everyone can still see this. But so you'd be able to sign up to the app. We'd sort of collect really just the necessary information, so it's all really quick and easy to do. And from this app, administrators would be able to see the rota, and so with staff members, so you could see the different kinds of doctors and what shifts they're on and when you need to be at work. And you can also update the reasons why you might not be able to attend work as well, which would tell you when you're expected to return to work, but would also update administrators around rotas. And administrators would also be able to see all the updates that staff are making, and sort of manage their alerts as well. I'll just go back. And then Yang, who was also working on the project, put together this great reporting system, so administrators and people responsible for reporting would be able to see this sort of snapshot of why staff are off and how big an impact it's having on the NHS. And as I mentioned, I unfortunately can't talk too much to the technical side of things, but there's links to all our code on the Medium article as well. And just lastly, there's the things that we'd like to do in future is to allow staff to input their availability via the app as well, so it would further automate how rotoring could be done, and so it would take less time for admin. And perhaps there's some sort of two-way communication as well between staff and administrators. So if administrators don't have enough doctors on certain shifts, they'd be able to sort of advertise the ad hoc shifts to other staff members who could then pick them up via the app as well.
It was just to highlight that it's obviously a really useful app for the doctors, and just to bear in mind from the protection of the data on this app, but also all of the apps that others are generating, is that the information that these GPs are going to have on there is quite important for them to do their jobs, but also others unfortunately might want to try and access that in a negative way, and we want to make sure that the administrators feel that the info they're getting is right and correct, as well as the staff, and that nobody has interfered with that in any way, shape or form. And trust in whatever is produced is really important. So when the code is being written, it's really important that protection is established at the very, very beginning, be it encryption, whatever, and that it's tested robustly before it's kind of like, put out there. So just pen test it as much as you possibly can and mitigate any vulnerabilities, and just ensuring that it's updated regularly and any patches to keep it maintained and secure. And I would hazard a guess that if one NHS trust finds this useful, it could be rolled out across the whole country. So in terms of the overall impact, it could be phenomenal for GPs, and you could then potentially run it out alongside nurses as well. The basis of our focus has always been GPs, but there's always the opportunity to roll it out with nurses and potentially other care-based organisations that always got rotas or logistic operations in place. So no, I think that was pretty much it. I think the other thing that I felt would be quite useful is the opportunity to export data. So for doctors and nurses, they have to acquire a number of hours to validate their licenses from one period to the next, and wanted them to have that opportunity of just exporting their hours to their license organisation, so that their licenses can be updated as and when, instead of having to manually do it or keep a note of it themselves and have it validated. So it removes a huge amount of administration across a number of interlinked organisations, and I think the benefit of that is that patients get more time with their GPs and their doctors, and that appointments can be kept instead of cancelled, because ordinarily they would be doing administrative tasks. So I think that's pretty much it.
And I know everyone couldn't attend the call today, but Rose, Yang, Zarina, Amir, everyone's been really proactive in the team. So it's been a very busy but great weekend. So thank you very much.